Hi, my name is Rusty Priske. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a poet. I've been involved in the Canadian poetry scene for quite some time. I was originally a slammer at a show called Capital Slam, and later became the slam master and organizer for that show, and became the slam master on the national for the national championships as well. Since then, I've moved on to various roles within poetry. Currently, I'm the spoken word editor of Art Poetry magazine, as well as other roles and responsibilities there. With this global pandemic that we're all facing, we've had to find new ways to communicate with each other, new ways to reach out to each other, and connect, with one another. I do that through poetry. So what I decided is I was going to start this channel, and I was going to share poems, and that's all. Just for the purpose of the poetry itself. So if you watch it and you enjoy it, that's great. I mean, let me know. I'd be happy to hear. I'd be thrilled to hear that you enjoyed it. Also, share it if you want to. If you don't want to, then that's fine too. Because that's not what it's about. It's about the poetry. And if I hear that anything that I write and perform and share touches anyone in any way, that's wonderful. That's all I could hope for. So for this first video, I'm going to start with a poem that is, some would call it my most famous poem. That, of course, would imply that any of my poetry reaches the level that it could be called famous. But it is the poem that, it's not the first poem I ever wrote, but it was the first one that made me feel like I was starting to get it, to understand, and it helped me get on my first slam poetry team to go to the national championships. And I've done it off and on over the years, many times, so many people have heard it. But I can't think of a better place to start than this, especially now, especially when we're talking about, well, this channel and why am I doing it, And I think this poem answers the question. I heard asked, why art? At first, I couldn't understand the question because why art sounded to me like when a tree or where blue. Then I realized they meant why pay for art with your time, money, taxes, or attention. I think that's the wrong question. It should be, if not for art, why exist? Human nature is to persist as the struggle for survival turns into faith tent revivals, as people look for a calling, something less galling or appalling than the need to procreate. But living to create, there's a whole new thing, whether it's a person you bring from an egg and a sperm or words that you turn into a whole new shape. Since we were apes, we knew that what is new is to be feared, loved, coveted, and admired. So is it art for art's sake? Life without art is vapid and hollow, merely existing is demeaning and shallow. Life needs art, breeds art. We absorb it every day, take it in every way. Art surrounds us, astounds us, confounds us, drowns us in love and beauty and rage and misery. It takes your heart and gives it a sweet caress. It takes your guts and twists them into a Gordian mess. It takes your brain, drops it in a blender, presses puree until it spits out a molten stew of goo and you and maybe some new ideas too. So is it art for life's sake? Does art just get us through the day, morning to night, just to say, job well done? Its purpose served, a tool for a life preserved, like an orange Kisbee ring thrown to a drowning man before he goes under? One last time. Art makes gray days lighter, or darker, or even grayer. It can be uplifting, but it doesn't have to be. It can be revealing, but that's not all it can be. It can be chaotic and maddening, joyful or pandering, lighting the way ahead or examining the way behind, or side to side, nowhere to hide except behind art. But art reveals instead of conceals, or is it the other way around? So is it life for art's sake? Do we exist just to leave our mark, to be remembered and dismembered, analyzed and demonized? Is history cement wet with the promise of the future and imprinted with the outline of the past? Art as memory remembers only one end of art, ignoring the listener, viewer, engorger, consumer as much a part of art at the finish as at the start. Art doesn't need an audience. But with when it changes, exchanges, and rearranges, art is in the ear and eye and hand. Art is where we breathe and where we stand. Life is art, and art is life. They cannot be separated like Paolo and Francesca, as Dante reminds us that art reflects, rejects, protects, and projects. All of nature is art, no matter who or what the artist. A kiss is art. A punch is art. That feeling in the pit of your stomach, the back of your brain, or around your heart that tells you she is the one. Art. To ignore art is to ignore life. So why art? I'm afraid you're going to have to rephrase the question. So thank you. Thank you, anyone who watched this. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon. Stay safe. Stay healthy.